see a nice one. Earlier this week we called the Sigla Jacob make to me. And you can see her eyes was destroyed because it took too long before I got onto her again, so she was on the wet cloth, so the clay didn't dry out. So I had to make new eyes for her, and that's what I'm making here. I have used my 5D to take the images, so the quality is far better when you do it with that. The plan was I would have taken the whole even the live part with the 7D, but and I have a program that can draw out the live stream from my 7D and the 5D, but the problem is that is a USB 2 port in the Canon 7D, and it's way too slow. There's too much lag in it. Here I use, there's a little LED on the end of the stick, and I use that so I can make the pupil the same size on every eye. If you do it freehand, you have the problem that some are a little smaller, some are a little bigger than they should be. So this is the way I do it. I don't know if you can see the little LED on that. And here I give them some varnish lacquer. And some of the problems I have had earlier is that I have to give them a lot of times, so get the layer thick enough. So close your eyes, children. This is not that nice to look at, but it's only clay, but very graphic. But I had to take the eyes out again and put some new in. But you can see the clay is already dried out and getting hard. And that's the problem when I make a lot of different things to make it more interesting, and then I get those kind of problems. Here in the start, if you remember, if you have seen some of the other movies, I built a kind of skeleton into the bear with some wood and things, but the problem with that is like I get a lot of cracks when it dries up. I have gotten better at it, so I don't get cracks, and at least not so much anymore. But here I have made some clay slurry, or what you would call it, and I'm trying to get it into the cracks. I cannot just put some thick clay on it again, because it will crack a lot too. So, but when I do it in this way, it will not. I have especially the wolf. I had a lot of troubles with. He kept breaking his leg because he was so heavy. But I pretty much have him now, but still some work on him. But as you can see, the bear had his neck broken. But he is getting there. But you can see there's a lot of work to do still after I have modeled the figure. And that's the problem when you only are one person. When I look around in the studio, there is only me. So it takes a lot of time. So that's why it's so difficult to make it very interesting. Some have suggested I did it like here's how I make that and here's how I make that. Yeah, and that's easy to say, because I have to make that before I can jump between things. And if I jump too much, I end up having a lot of models half finished, and it don't help anything. It is about making this stop motion movie, so I have to get forward all the time, get finished with some of the things I do. And if I jump too much, I have the problem like with the Flint's mother, who, because I had to keep her damp, the eyes get ruined and so on. So I have to stay on one to its finish, or a couple of figures or 3 I can do simultaneously, but I have to be careful not to get too many things half done, because sooner or later I will have to finish them. And you can see here I'm sanding his father, Flint's father, and it takes a lot of time. It takes about a week to make a model like this. I know when people are thinking I could do it more interesting, like how it made on Discovery or something like that. Yeah, but they have hundreds of people making something, a big production line, and they just go around with the camera, follow a product from start to finish with the camera, with a lot of machines and a lot of people. So that's not how it works when you're doing things like this. And even when we start to make the movie, I have made all the models. You have the same problem. You cannot make a lot of film on a day. Because you only take one single frame at the time, one single movement. Is kind of boring to look at too. But I guess this is only for the nerdy people who kind of like these sort of things. This guy I sanded all day, and I wasn't even finished then. And you know, the better I do it when I'm sanding him, the less there is to correct when I'm doing the scanning and get the 3D print. And that's the same way when I model them. You have to take your time for it, because when I model them, if I don't do it good enough, then I have to sand a lot, and when I don't sand a lot, I have to correct it later when in the scanning in the 3D software. So you end up having to do a good job all the way through, or else it will bite you sooner or later. But we will, over time, try to do it more and more interesting as I get good to it, or get better to it. But I have to learn this too. And as I told before, in the start I got a lot of cracks in the modeling when they dried, but I have solved the worst of that problem now. They don't crack so much. This guy I'm sanding there, he didn't crack at all, but there are no sticks or nothing inside him. The problem is that if you have some skeleton in them, when the clay is drying, it is scranking, and when it's scranking, it's some part of it stick to the skeleton, and it don't scrank. So then you have all the cracks. And then when I put clay on them, if I don't do the right, it also cracks. But that's something to learn along the way. There will be a lot to learn. As I told already at the beginning, I will do a lot of mistakes and have to do things over again, because I don't know everything about this. working in new materials and have to find ways to do things. I don't have an unlimited budget, so I need to find ways to do things. Like you see now, this small Christmas ornament is what end up being the eyes. And if you take them like they are, the red, and try to paint on it, the red goes through the white paint, and regardless how many times you spray it, it keeps coming through. So I have to get rid of the red paint. But the good thing about it is that they get up with alcohol solution, ordinary household alcohol. So I'm just put them in this glass, and I can, with a paper towel, dry off the paint, the red paint, and then I can spray them and make eyes out. But you can buy Finnish beautiful eyes, but they cost. I found some in England, in Great Britain, or what do you call it, and they cost £1,600 a pair, and that was not a solution. They were prettier than those I make, I must say, but this has to do. So I just pour a lot of alcohol over them. And everywhere else too. Messy guy. And now is it you find out if you have any holes in your finger, and I had. So it's good, there's no sound on. Ouch. I'm trying to get the air out of the bulbs, so they are submerged in the alcohol. But nearly everything you make, you use hours and hours and hours, and then you drag a camera and light and other stuff around behind you. See, now the air is out, and I can fill some more alcohol on it. Some of the top ones I have to turn around to get the air out. And then you have to clean them all afterwards, as we do there. And you can see on the sticks behind there, some of them I have cleaned. And now you know where I took the picture I uploaded. I couldn't help myself. I like the colors and the way they were scattered in the alcohol. I guess I like shiny things. But you can see there the most of the hour, an hour there too. And then I have to spray them all white, and then I have to paint iris and purple on them, and then I have to lacquer them. It would have been easier if there had been a lot of people around me making other things. Then we could have made it really interesting. But there isn't.